Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome back to Brown Bag Bets, powered by BETSPERTS. We are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. I'm Alex Christenson, and joining me, as always, Mr. Andy Molitor, looking beautiful in light blue there. I like the color combination. It was a big weekend, Andy. What do you want to start with? Do you want to talk about that World Series game last night that has a producer Dan pretty bummed out, then Cowboys winning without Dak Prescott, or the Jets ruining all the survivor pools?
Yeah, a lot of exciting games. We went over a bunch of it last night on Sunday night. If you want a full hour of breaking down the Sunday, but the Jets one was pretty big, the Mike White game, and I'm in a weird spot with that because it's like not sustainable. They've got tape on him. You see this all the time where it's like, all right, the guy looks okay, and then they get some tape on him. They game plan for a specific quarterback, and he looks horrible again. But the Colts only have a few days to do it. The Jets have to turn around and play on Thursday night. We have Mike White versus Carson Wentz Thursday night. We were just saying how we'd gotten to the good part of the Thursday night schedule. Not so fast, my friends. Not so fast. And yes, the Minnesota Sports Talk Radio update. I'm waiting for the afternoon shows too. I really want to hear what Barrero says this afternoon. I haven't listened to Sports Talk Radio in quite a while, but yeah, I'm sure it's just as rational as usual. Horrible, horrible game for them, and it was kind of, I guess, kind of predictable. Minnesota without when they have a small lead, they kind of turned into a very conservative team. So good on Cooper Rush, good on that team. They have so many skill position players around him. I guess it's a lot less surprising than like Mike White. Yeah, it's you don't have a lot of skill position players on the Jets, whereas the Cowboys have a bunch of good receivers, two good running backs, and also a good line, a decent play calling offensive coordinator as well. So the fact that that happened, I guess, wasn't super surprising. That might be my luckiest. Andy got the worst of the number by like 5 points win, which I will take to the bank because I get bad losses all the time, and this would be nice to go back and look at. Otherwise, the series, I didn't really watch the baseball game last night. I guess bet the over. That was
It
a
was
look in a bullpenage game.
It was a fun game to live bet. If you were somebody of the mindset to go in and grab the Astros and they were down 4-0, they were like plus 450, and then you went back on the other side, maybe grab some Braves. Probably shouldn't have done that, but I fell asleep, Andy, knowing that I was pretty solid on both sides. It was a fairly fun baseball game. Again, unless you're a Braves fan, there was a lot of hitting, a lot of interesting moments, and stretches of good pitching, but overall the Braves look kind of, they got out to that 4-0 lead and then it took really the foot off the gas, if you will. So we'll see how it goes. They've got a couple more chances here to close it out. I don't know if that can maybe happen, but that was pretty interesting. And it was hard to watch the baseball game with everything that was going on in that Cowboys game. What a funky, weird game. Cooper Rush. I'm trying to remember what the stat our good buddy, our boss Reed, put in there, that he was the first quarterback since another Central Michigan quarterback to win their first start in prime time and throw for 300 yards, and both of them played for the Cowboys.
And beat the Vikings. It was a very, very.
Oh, they both beat the Vikings. Oh God,
I think so too. So, all right. And before we get into the real sports, this is probably actually a more popular sport worldwide than the NBA will ever be. But England now from 550 to even money in another wild game in the cricket. I don't know if that's a pick or what. I just like how this guy always has cricket stuff to talk about. So
cricket is it's pretty crazy. I have a buddy who's in the chat sometimes. You might see him, Zane. He's in there from time to time.
yeah.
Him and I may or may not have some New Zealand plus 800 to win the Cricket World Cup. But from a live betting standpoint, Andy, it's wild to watch some of the moves and money lines. For those who don't know, the way cricket works, one team bats all at once, and the second team bats all at once. So you watch the money lines; they'll go anywhere from, like he said, even down to minus 550 and back, depending on how many runs a team have put up, how many wickets and so kind of get moved around. There's a lot of moving pieces, but it's without a doubt the wildest live money line movement of any sport I've ever seen.
Can you imagine that if like the Braves got up and they got 27 outs, and then after that the Astros got to bat and they got 27 outs? That would that would really f with my head as far as the live money line. Yeah, I'm out on cricket. That's too much for me. Let's talk NBA.
Cricket's pretty fun.
Maybe let's make some bets.
It's just hard to watch.
Yeah,
but we got plenty of other stuff to cover. Maybe that's when we get to the doldrums of the year. But NBA, it moves on. One of the things that was nice to wake up to, Andy, was somehow the Rockets covered last night. I went to bed, the Rockets were down like 25, and I woke up, they lost by 10. So whether you got the 11, whether you got the 10 and a half, way to go, boys. A bunch of games tonight, a bunch of angles. This first one I feel terrible about. I bet this late last night, the Bulls plus, I was actually able to get a little better than this, but I look at this game, they're playing the Celtics. You know, the reason I don't feel so good about it is a lot of smart people that we know in our NBA chat really like the Celtics tonight with Robert Williams coming back and Marcus Smart coming back. But I look at this and it's hard for me to back the Celtics team. I look at my numbers. I look at some of, the closing market value things that we've had so far this year, even when Boston's at full strength. And I really struggle to get this to be Boston, -1.5, -2, where it is. I have the Bulls as a small favorite. No matter how many adjustments I make, they've been a really solid team top to bottom. I've been astounded with how good their defense has been with some of those guards coming in. So Bulls plus 115, it's a bet I made. I feel pretty good about it, but everybody's been telling me they like the Celtics. So not sure what to do there, Andy. What do you think?
I just roll with it. It's the Bulls.
I know you love
lost
the Bulls.
one piece. It's still a 50-win team. Let's go.
Hawks -5.5. Really like the matchup tonight for the Hawks. It's a team, again, very complete. The Hawks have been great this year. And, one of the things I will mention, you'll notice we're betting a couple favorites here. Favorites have done very, very well. The Hawks get the Wizards tonight. This is a team, as my buddy Hardwood Paroxysm, Matt Moore from the Action Network, you might know him, calls us a duplex, playing this team twice in the same week. Kind of like that term. That's interesting. Maybe I'll work on that. But, the Hawks lose the first game to the Wizards. Generally, those teams do very well on the back end. At the very least, it's a better rest spot here for the Hawks. I have them out to -7, almost 7.5. So really like this 5.5 here, given the rest angle for Washington and the fact that I expect everyone to play, but they're carrying a lot of nagging injuries at this point. So a really nice spot for them. The 76ers, my Philadelphia 76ers, laying 5 points against the Portland Trailblazers. The Trailblazers coming off a pretty rough loss last night to the Charlotte Hornets, then have to go make a quick trip up north to Philadelphia to face a Sixers team that is just really a poor matchup for them. Dave Willard will probably have a solid game tonight. If there is an opportunity for him to snap out of the funk that he's in this year, it will be against the Sixers. They generally struggle against better guards like that, but overall, it should be a great night for Joel Embiid. I think Tobias Harris will put up quite a bit of points. And the depth and overall quality of the Sixers, the Blazers, again, this is a back-to-back, a 3 and 4 spot for them. I have the Sixers out here -7.5, almost -8. So happy to lay the 5 there. And the Pacers, the Indiana Pacers, it's been a tough team to back. They're laying 3 points at home tonight against the San Antonio Spurs. Might be a letdown spot for the Spurs. Got a big win in their last road game. Have to come in here. I believe this is a 3 and 4 for them tonight. Thought about maybe laying the 3 again. A bunch of smart people that we know like laying the 3, but I see more value here in this team total. 109.5. You should be able to find that most places. There might be some cheaper 110.5s, but poke around. I have the Pacers here at about 115 points tonight. The Spurs have been very good, but defensively have struggled. This is going to be a really tough matchup for them. If you're a DFS player, if you like props tonight, look into Sabonis stuff. There really is not anybody on the Spurs team that's going to be able to slow down Domantas Sabonis tonight. So like the Pacers quite a bit to put up a big number. If you want to lay the 3 points, that's fine too, but I see more value here in this team total. So we'll take the Bulls, lay the points with the Hawks and the Sixers, and take an over, which can be tough. Unders have been pretty good, but it's a team total over. So maybe the Pacers score a lot and the Spurs don't score at all.
There has to be a price adjustment for these unders. Like the unders are crushing right now.
We talked about it in the chat quite a bit, and there have been some pricing adjustments, but I wonder if it's just like a cascading event. We talked about, I mentioned you had the change in fouls plus the introduction of the crowd. As the market starts to react to that, the last 3 or 4 days, we've had a bunch of injuries here overall. So I think it's just taking a little bit long for all these different things that sort of, it's like a snowball rolling downhill, Andy. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So we'll see what happens. But unders and favorites hitting it over 60% so far.
Unders and favorites go together like spaghetti and tuna fish. I don't know. Like, that's not how it's supposed to work. Anyway, World Series, day off. No bet from me today. It's been fun winning on baseball bets, especially when I don't really actually know what I'm doing. But it's been nice. I have some Braves to win the series. I'm going to just sit on that. I'm not a hedger. Never have, never will. Braves are -225 right now, +200 on the comeback. for the Stros. I've seen some people betting the Astros as a slight favorite in Game 6. I'm going to stay away from that one outside of maybe some totals or props. You can see the Astros money lines right around -120, run line +155. Total kind of has been, it's just like when you get into these NBA playoff series and like, oh, the number is the same every, the total is like 8.5 every game. They're always going to be 8.5. They haven't really had to make an adjustment. I might be looking at another over here just with, the Atlanta's pitcher on the road, and maybe Garcia gets shelved a little again. I'm weighing my options, but I'll probably be on it over tomorrow. Nothing today. We'll talk about that. Maybe do a PrizePicks entry for it. Where in the wide world is tennis today?
Tennis is all over the place. The women have the Billie Jean King Cup. You may know that as the Fed Cup. They renamed it in honor of the woman that started the WTA, effectively, Miss Billie Jean King. So that's wrapping up right about now.
CEO of Virginia Slims.
Oh, come on now. Come on now. It's Monday. We can't be starting the week with this kind of stuff.
That's fair.
There are a couple smaller events, though. We have what I've called in the past the Challenger Tour, the 125K. They recently kind of rebranded a lot of the WTA stuff. I think they're trying to get more of this use of the Challenger Tour. Again, Major League Baseball would be the WTA. AAA is kind of this level. You get younger players fighting for ranking points. These are all players not chosen to represent their countries in the Billie Jean King Cup. Fairly talented field, and a name you might recognize. Someone that we've backed quite a bit here will be our underdog choice. Again, these are tough tournaments. The timing's tough, and there's not a lot of lines everywhere. So tennis picks will be a little sparse this week, but this is one you should be able to find. I found this at a few places. You can get this, I believe, as high as +380, but I'm seeing +350 or so most places. I think +300 or better. I have this right around +225. Tweak some stuff. I can get it up to +250, but not north of 3-1. Reese Brantmeyer playing Katie McNally. Brantmeyer has had a tough last week or so. She's lost her last 3 matches, but against competitive talent, you go back and look at those matches. I'm not necessarily upset at those losses. Katie McNally really having a down year, struggled with some injuries, has played poorly when she has played. And as I look back again, is losing matches. So I'm not really sure. You take a look at that. McNally is the bigger name, is the better ranking, but you start to look at some of the underlying data this season. For the year, Brantmeyer looks better. Recently, Brantmeyer looks better. The level of competition isn't quite as high as what Katie McNally's faced, but I really struggle to see why she should be greater than 3-1 underdog here in this situation. So happy to take Brantmeyer on the money line there, +340. And again, we'll try to be back with some more of these stuff, but just one for now.
All right, that's fine.
This one, I think, should be around 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, I think, is the earliest start time for this. So
I'd like some overnight stuff, but whatever.
I'll see if I can find something in some random country somewhere, Andy. I'll find you some like ITFW 25 stuff that is only at one book.
I'll be up real early. I got to get up early for a flight. So the Gigantes play the Chiefs tonight in the football sport. We've got Monday Night Football, they call it. The Giants are getting 10 points at Arrowhead here. Total 52.5. I took this at over 52. This was bet down from 54. Once it got down to 52, I made the number north of 54 by a little bit. I still do. Still happy with that total. I'm going to be looking at a few different ways to maybe attack that during the game. I really, really, really don't think there's anything wrong with Kansas City's offense. I think it's just a couple game blip and we get right back on track here. Things are going to start working out in spades for them. And the Giants have been squirrely. Despite some injuries, they've made things work on offense, and the Kansas City defense is very, very broken. There are many things wrong with this. So total's a few points low for me. I took this tonight. I don't know if I'm laying the 10. No, if you made me bet a side, I'm probably taking some value, even though like my median outcome has them winning by like 13-14. It just doesn't feel like a good time to be laying this many points with the Chiefs ever. So I wouldn't bet the side with anyone's money right now.
It's a weird game. It's hard to figure out what this is going to be like. I mean, if it's the Chiefs, they could score 50 points. The Giants defense is solid, but I don't think that there's any reason to think the Chiefs should be able to put up points. But at the same time, Daniel Jones, they've got a decent running game, and they'll be able to put something together on a Kansas City defense. It's looked really poor. Or is it just going to be a run fest, and we're going to watch Kansas City turn the ball over and the Giants not be able to score? And it's like just this awful Thursday night football style game. I don't know. It was really hard for me to try to figure out how this game was going to go.
Yeah, and Patrick says, I said the same thing about the Chiefs last week. Well, it's got to pop. They're gonna pop. This offense is not broken. There are a lot of things. There are a lot of things that can go right for this offense, and not many things that can go wrong. The turnover luck regression probably kicks in here. They score 35. We get this over easy. That's what I'm feeling. And let's go BETSPERTS touchdown scores, because outside of my over, hopefully this cashes within the first, I don't know, 5 seconds. That would be great for an over. But five pack tonight. Nothing small, nothing down in the 10, 12 to 1, starting right at 18.
Chiefs games are tough. You've got Tyreek Hill, you've got Travis Kelce, even Darrell Williams, the running back, is down there at single digits. The shortest number I looked at was Devontae Booker. If you want to do some stuff with Devontae Booker, there's a 10-1 out there, which is right where I had it. I have it right at 10-1. If you want to take that and mix it in with some stuff, I don't mind that at all. He really does get the lion's share of the work down at the goal line, especially with Saquon Barkley being out, but just not enough value in that number. So unfortunately, again, got to stay away from Tyreek Hill, got to stay away from Travis Kelce, even Devontae Booker and Darrell Williams at the prices I'm generally seeing, just no value there to be had. But as I look at some other spots, the third leader in targets inside the 20, and I believe he's second in terms of targets inside the 10, is Mecole Hardman, someone that I think a lot of people think of as more of a burner, someone that's generally going to score some longer touchdowns, but has been getting a lot of work and a lot of targets as they get closer to the red zone. I was happy to grab him here at 18-1. Again, the Giants defense is generally pretty solid, but they just lack, I think, the overall talent to be able to defend Kelce, Tyreek Hill, and make sure they have Hardman covered. So I think he's going to take advantage of that. Pat Mahomes at 20-1. This is right at the number. Don't play anything lower than 20-1. Is a pretty good rushing quarterback. I'm curious to see what he does. I mean, the Giants in general have given up touchdowns to rushing quarterbacks. Again, that defense is going to have so many other things to focus on tonight. I think we'll have a great shot at Mahomes getting a rollout or being able to sneak in. We're going to go back to the tight ends. We've got Ingram here, and then Rudolph you see down there at the bottom. Those are both of the Giants' tight ends. Rudolph was getting a lot of targets, especially in the red zone early in the season while Ingram was hurt. Now that Ingram is back, he's getting a lion's share of the targets, but Rudolph is still getting some work when they get close to the red zone there. He's a solid blocker, someone they like to use. Andy, I'm sure you remember him as a Viking, was always a threat down the goal line to catch some touchdowns. So Ingram at 24-1, Rudolph at 66-1. You look at how susceptible the Chiefs are in general to tight end touchdowns. I think they're both good shots, not only to score a touchdown, but of course to be first. And Danny Dimes, I mentioned him already. Just a really nice opportunity. This Chiefs defense is a defense you can score on, and they are going to forget about him from time to time. He's going to have a chance to run this in, whether it be something short, whether it be kind of scampering in from the 10, whether it be a bootleg or something like that. Just really like Danny Dimes there at 25-1. I saw G. Patrick saying 25-1. I'd play him at 20-1 or better. So if you don't have the 25, there's some 24s out there. You should be able to get at least 20-1 or better. So there's our little 5-pack tonight. No small numbers. We'll stick with some big ones. See if we can't catch a flyer.
I'm in. I'm shaking hands with you. Through the,
wait,
you went the wrong. I always go the wrong. I've gotten good because I can see my mic over here. I know that's the only reason I know it. Otherwise, I do it wrong every single time.
We'll work on it.
Speaking of Daniel Jones, I have his projections a lot closer to 300 than 250 for passing yards, especially if we get into the game state implied by the line that is -10 right now. So I'm just knocking over this cup repeatedly, making a lot of noise. I feel like an asshole. Either way. I make this like 287, 288, somewhere in there. I think for my projection, he is 242 pass. So the over on his passing yards, and then Darrell Williams, fantasy score points over. Darrell Williams is my number one guy for receivers getting targets. Darrell Williams should be getting some stuff on the ground. Darrell Williams should be getting some red zone looks. I have this a little higher as well. So over 13.5 fantasy points for my PrizePicks Thursday night entry, pays 3-1. If you would like to do a PrizePicks too, you can sign up with our code BBB, get yourself a $100 instant deposit match, as well as all kinds of offers they have week in and week out. Hit me up if you have questions. And with that,
don't bet the Sixers. They just ruled Joel Embiid out for rest for some reason.
Oh, and also the Titans are bringing in Adrian Peterson to work out. I made a joke, Jeff, about this earlier. Like, I was kidding, guys. Like, that's
That
not
makes
a
me a
thing
little
that should
happier.
really happen. Yeah, I gotta go find this, Jeff. Oh boy. So, all right, we'll catch you guys. Well, I won't catch you. I'm gonna be out a little bit for vacation this week. So Matt and Dan will step in my stead. Bear will still be here Friday. Probably have some pretty good shows because I won't be here mucking it up with my cup this week. See you guys.